So I was checking my YouTube analytics the other day, and I noticed something interesting. It looks like the #1 search term that's leading people to my channel is how to get carrots in Minecraft. I'm not sure how I became the carrot guy, but hey, I got you, fam. I'm going to teach you today how to get carrots, and I'm going to teach you how to build a carrot farm. Nice and easy, early game. First, let me give you some tips on how to find your very first carrots in the game. Go to a village. You've got about a 30% chance of finding carrots in a plains village and about a 10% chance of finding carrots in a snowy village, so I would definitely head for the plains village. If you find yourself a pillager outpost, you've got almost a 60% chance to find carrots in a pillager outpost, or a shipwreck, almost 50%, like 47 or something like that. Oh wait, no, never mind, it's 42% chance of finding carrots in a shipwreck. So shipwrecks, villages, pillager outposts, if you had to choose any of those three, the village is the safest, but the pillager outpost is, if you can stomach it, almost 60% chance to find yourself a carrot. If you want to try getting a carrot from a zombie, you could try that too, but honestly, even with looting, you've got a under 2% chance of a zombie or husk or drowned dropping a carrot. So I would definitely be opting for the village or the pillager outpost if it were me. Okay, let's go build ourselves a carrot farm. When searching for an area to build a carrot farm, I would recommend a nice flat area in a plains. They are usually the easiest to do, and I've marked out a little area here. One thing that I would recommend, if you press F3 and G, you can actually see the chunk borders. Try aligning this into a chunk. That way you'll know exactly where it is you should build this farm. Now, it's not strictly necessary to build it entirely in one chunk unless you want to chunk load the farm, which I will show you how to do later if you're on Java. That'll work for you. If you're not, don't worry about it. You can really build this anywhere. Everything we're going to need to build is in this chest right here. We're going to need a bunch of rails. So I've got 1 stack and 36 normal rails plus 10 powered rails. We're going to need 10 levers, 8 trapdoors. Those could be any kind of trapdoors, 4 torches, 2 chests, 2 hoppers, 1 composter, 1 glowstone, 1 lightning rod, 1 slab, and again, any kind of slab, 1 bucket of water, plus we're going to need a bunch of building blocks. So I've got 2 stacks of cobblestone here. We're definitely not going to need that much, but better safe than sorry. We're also going to need some grass and some dirt, but we're probably going to end up getting the dirt we need just by digging this hole in the next step. So you probably don't need that either. Of course, we are going to need a hoe and, of course, some carrots for the farm. You're also going to need a hopper minecart. So let's get building. We're going to start this build by digging ourselves a hole that is 10 blocks wide by 9 blocks long, and we're going to dig that down 2 blocks. So I've just marked it out in red wool here. You don't have to mark it out in red wool, just dig it down so it's 2 blocks deep. Once your hole is dug, it's going to look something like this. This along this edge here, this is the 10, and then that is the 9 over there. So we're going to jump into the hole, and along the 9, we're going to go right to the middle. So that should be 5 blocks in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be it right here. And if we just count from the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so this is the middle block right here. We're going to replace this entire line right here with cobblestone or some other building block. I'm just going to grab my building blocks out here. Boop, 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 boop. This is not strictly necessary to do this, but I like to do this just because it's going to be easier for the next step. So what I need to do is actually dig down underneath these blocks. So I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to dig a little path out underneath all of these cobblestone blocks, just like this. And once I get to the end, and you can no longer see the cobblestone above, okay, there we go. I can fill this back in with dirt because I only need the 10. I'm going to grab my 10 levers here, and I'm going to put them on here one at a time and switch them on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That should be all of them. And now I can, hypothetically, fill in all this bottom row of dirt again, just to make sure nothing spawns down here. And we can climb our way back out again. And we should have this. Now that we've got that, we're going to come to the front of our farm, and we're just going to break out a few blocks here. We're going to have to break out these blocks at the bottom, and we're going to put our chests right down in here, something like that, and then break out these 2 blocks in front, and we're going to put our 2 hoppers facing into those chests. So shift and click and place those hoppers in, and we're probably going to break this down a little bit here just so that we have a little bit of a stairway so that we can get in and out to these chests as we are going to need them. Next, we're going to start laying down our rails. So we'll have to shift and place the rails on top of the hoppers, and then we're just going to follow along the whole wall just like this until we get to the cobblestone. We're going to place one of our powered rails down, and now you can see why we put those levers underneath, because this is going to be all the powered rails, and you'll know you put them in the right place if they light up like that. Let's just carry on in this sort of pattern, and there's another powered rail, and then keep going, and we're just going to keep zigzagging all the way here until we have filled this entire thing in. And the last row is just going to proceed back along and rejoin up with the line over the hoppers here. And you should have something like this. Now you can go ahead and cover this entire area in dirt again. Just make sure that when you do seal the final version that there's no animals or anything down here. So sorry, chicken, you gotta go. Yeah, that's right. You just go in the hole right there and stay there forever. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just go. Oh, never mind. Nope, nobody saw that. As I'm placing this dirt in, I'm going to leave one hole right above the absolute center block here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th block, this 5th power rail, leave this dirt missing. That's going to be important later. And then we can just fill the rest of this stuff in here. Once you're completely finished with the hole, what we're going to do is come along and place the slab. Make sure it's a bottom slab right in that hole, and then we're just going to click and waterlog that slab just like that. We're going to grab our composter and place that right on top of the slab, so it's now covering up the water. And now we just jump up on top of the composter. Now here we need to do some shift jumping. So we're going to, on top of the composter, shift, jump and place 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to place our lightning rod right up on top of that. And then we could just jump back down again. And hopefully this doesn't hurt too much. We are going to have to break out this bottom block and replace it with a piece of glowstone, just like that. Okay, we're in the home stretch. We just need to place some trapdoors around this glowstone. So make sure you place the trapdoors at the bottom of the glowstone and not at the top of the composter. So just shift and place them there. We're going to need 1 on each side plus 1 in the middle. So a total of 8 that just kind of completely seals this in, and it doesn't matter how they flip or anything like that. That's basically to stop the villager from getting to the actual composter, because we don't want him composting the carrots into bone meal. We want him to plant the carrots, right? Okay, next we're going to start hoeing the ground here. So we need to hoe this out 4 blocks away from the center in every direction. Just like that, like that, and like that. And now we're going to fill this whole area in, but before we do that, we can go ahead and cover all of this area, well, surround the whole thing, in our building blocks. This is just to make sure that we don't have any mobs or anything wandering in, bothering us and our farm. You can put a roof on this if you want to. I found it's not strictly necessary. I'm going to leave this gap open because I'm going to have to come back in here with a villager in a few minutes, and it's just easier if I do that now. So we'll just make this block 2 high, this wall I should say 2 blocks high, and once I finish that, it'll be time to get ourselves a villager. Actually, I lied, sorry. Before we get the villager, we should hoe the ground. So we'll just go ahead and finish hoeing out all of this ground just to make sure that you have 80 full blocks. That is a 9x9 area minus the block in the middle, which obviously is taken up by the water, so it can't be hoed. If you find that you can't hoe these blocks around the composter, it means that you accidentally put the trapdoors on the composter and they need to be 1 block up. If you want to maximize your farm's output, make sure you put those trapdoors on the glowstone and not on the composter. There you go. Okay, almost done here. And now we are ready to go get the villager. I find that the easiest way to capture a villager is just to put down a boat and then give the villager a little nudge in the boat. You can then sail the boat if you really want to, all the way over to some water. If you have to go up to get out some water or anything like that, you can just use a lead, attach that straight to the boat, and then you should be able to just drag the boat pretty much anywhere you want to go, and it'll just follow you. Up, down, wherever you like. Okay, let's get this villager back to our farm. People say working with villagers is pretty difficult, but I'm telling you, if you understand the core mechanics of the AI of the villager, you're not going to have any problems. Check this out. I'm just going to sail my little boat right in here. I'm going to break the boat, and as soon as I break the boat, let's see, here we go. That villager is going to want to capture himself as a farmer, and there we go. We've sealed him right in now. I'm going to put a little bit of stuff up here, and now all I need to do is basically toss this guy a carrot, or a few carrots. Come on over here, buddy. Let's see if he actually takes his carrot bait. All right, let's try that again. I've kind of brought my carrots over here because he wasn't really picking up the carrots. So I'm just going to hold these carrots until he kind of looks at me, and then maybe toss the carrots right to him, and he's running away. At some point, he's going to want to pick up those carrots. I swear, he really will. He'll pick up the carrots. There he goes. He picked up the carrots. And because he's a farmer, he should immediately start actually doing his farming job. He's going to look at the composter, try to convert those carrots into bone meal, but because of the trapdoors, he's not able to. Now he should actually start planting the carrots. There he goes. Planting away. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your hard work and that one carrot you planted. Yeah, it is going to take a while for him to plant this entire carrot field. If you want to speed this up a little bit, you can go ahead and plant the carrots yourself. When they grow, he will pick up the carrots and continue to plant them. By the way, if you want a really easy way to get in and out of here so you can do things like planting the crops, just break out one block and then put a trapdoor in place. You can also break out the bottom block now, and you can see that the villager is just too tall to be able to get through here. However, you can walk in and out with absolutely no issues whatsoever. He is going to break this crop by jumping up and down on it. That should only happen the one time. Hey, if you like what you see so far, go ahead and click that like button. Maybe subscribe so you never miss these videos. Thanks! Now the last thing we need to do is place in the hopper minecart. The easiest way I've found to do this is to come over to the edge of your wall here, maybe a couple blocks in here, and I'm just going to dig out some blocks here, jump in and get right down here so that I have a direct line to these rails. And actually I went down too deep here, just like that is what I want to do. I'm just going to put a couple extra rails, 1, 2, maybe 3, something like that. Now I'm going to put the hopper minecart here, and I'm just going to give it a push. And that should get it onto the track, and now I can actually break these extra rails and fill all this back in again. And we should be good to go. So over the next day or so, that villager will go ahead and plant all of the carrots, fill in all the spots, and then as the carrots grow, he'll continue to harvest them, plant any empty spaces, and any extra, he'll just leave laying on the ground. So one thing you might notice is it takes a really long time for carrots to start being produced by this farm. Even after the entire farm is full of carrots, you're probably asking yourself, why isn't my carrot farm producing any carrots? Well, the main reason is because the villager has 8 hidden inventory slots. And each one of those slots is going to hold 64 carrots, which means he's going to need 8 full stacks of carrots in his inventory before he stops dropping carrots on the ground. That might take 2 or 3 days, Minecraft days, before the farm starts producing, but after that, you should get a reasonable supply of carrots. If you want to maximize the yield of your crops and make sure the mobs don't spawn, place some torches in the 4 corners, just like this. That way, your light level in the corners will be high enough for the carrots to grow even at night. If you don't want to stand around at your farm waiting for this thing to produce, you can actually build a chunk loader as long as you're on Java Edition. In order to do that, you're just going to need a few things that are in this chest. You're going to need an ender pearl, you're going to need a water bucket, 1 piece of soul sand, you'll have to go to the nether for that one, and 5 pieces of kelp. If you don't have 5 kelp, you can actually use 5 water buckets as well, but I just find the kelp to be a little bit easier. Okay, let's grab those things and I'll show you how to build this thing. Now this is exactly why we built the entire contraption inside of a single chunk. We can come over to any of the unused areas in the chunk, still inside the chunk right here, and we're going to dig down exactly 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the bottom, we're going to jump and we're going to place that soul sand. Now we're going to reach up to the top, and on the very top block, we're going to place our water, let it flow down, and now we're going to place our 5 kelp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swim back down again and break out all of the kelp, and that should shoot us back up to the top of the water stream. And then we're going to take our ender pearl, we're going to shift, or we're going to move as close as we can right to the edge, and we're going to throw that down right about in the center. And if we do it right, it should just bob up and down just like that. Perfect! We've just built ourselves an ender pearl chunk loader. As long as you are in Java Edition, this will keep this chunk loaded, which means our farm will be continuously loaded even if we go 1,000 blocks away. We don't have to hang around and let our farm work. It'll just keep working in the background. As long as we are online. If we shut down the world or if we disconnect from a server that we're playing on, obviously that chunk loader is not going to work. The chunk will not remain loaded if the server isn't running and if you're not online. Ender Pearl chunk loaders require you to be somewhere in the world in order to work. But as long as you're in the world, you can go off, build other farms, go collect more resources, whatever you like. And when you come back, your farm will have been working the entire time. So I left the area for about 10 Minecraft days. That's about almost 2 hours in real life, just to come back and see exactly how my farm has been producing. Let's check it out. And down here, oh, look at that. We've got 9, 10, 11, over 10 stacks. Over 11 stacks, actually. So that is more than a stack of carrots per Minecraft day that has been generated by this farm. Hopefully this farm serves you as well as it has served me. Looks like the sun is going down, so I'm gonna have to go find some shelter. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button. That really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I guess, without further ado, I shall see you in the next episode. Bye.